Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for March 21st. March 21st is the 80th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 81st in leap years, with 285 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is apocryphal. Apocryphal is an adjective that means most simply of doubtful authenticity, fictitious. You might see the word apocrypha, which is the noun form, or apocryphal, which is the adjective form, in reference to writings or statements whose purported origin is in doubt, that are not sanctioned as belonging to certain official canons, like apocryphal books of the Old Testament. Stories, texts, or quotes that are not considered authentic or reliable by experts in their respective fields might be labeled as apocryphal. Unlikely quotes by or stories about historical figures might be apocryphal. Certain ghost stories might be considered apocryphal. Apocryphal, by the way, is, as I mentioned, the adjective form of this word, and the noun form is apocrypha. The word apocryphal comes to us through Middle English, Latin before that, originally from Greek, where it meant something more along the lines of secret, private, or to hide away. First known use of the words apocryphal in its original meanings will have been as early as the 1300s, and the more contemporary meaning in the 1580s. Apocryphal. Today's word apocryphal was suggested by Easy9 over on Odyssey. Thanks, Easy9. And if you have a word you'd like us to examine in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, we're going to start on March 21st in the year 630, when Emperor Heraclitus returned the true cross to Jerusalem. This is thought to be an actual artifact, the actual cross upon which Jesus was crucified, and as such is considered to be a holy Christian relic. On March 21st, 1804, French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte enacted a new legal framework for France, as well as the rest of the empire, known as the Napoleonic Code. The Napoleonic Code was drawn from Justinian's codification of Roman law and modified into 4 sections: ruling persons, property, acquisition of property, and civil procedure. Civil procedure was moved to its own separate code a couple years later. I definitely appreciate that they recognized the importance of a clearly written and accessible law. No secret laws were to be passed or enacted under Napoleonic Code. This is the birthday of Russian pianist and composer Modest Mussorgsky. He was born March 21st, 1839. He reworked some compositions of other composers, but he also wrote some great pieces of his own. We'll talk a little bit more about him in a minute. He lived to the age of 42. On March 21st, 1925, the Butler Act prohibited the teaching of human evolution in Tennessee. As a result, a teacher specifically and deliberately taught evolution in his classroom in order to test the law. The outcome of that ultimately was what we know as the Scopes monkey trial and the repeal of the Butler Act. This is the birthday of German-American astronomer and critic Halton Arp, born March 21st, 1927. He compiled an atlas of peculiar galaxies, which catalogs examples of interacting and merging galaxies and other kinds of galaxies that don't quite fit the rules of ordinary astronomy. Halton Arp was a critic of the Big Bang Theory, which put him out of favor with the Big Bang Theory establishment. Interesting guy, Halton Arp. He passed away in 2013 at the age of 86. We talked the other day about the Civil Rights March from Selma, Alabama to the state capitol in Birmingham in 1965. That first attempt was literally a bloody disaster, and the second attempt fell through, but with less violence. On March 21st, 1965, Martin Luther King Jr. began yet another march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, leading 3,200 people on the start of the third and finally successful Civil Rights March to the Alabama State Capitol. This is not a little short walk around the block, it's about 50 miles. Quite a trek. NASA launched Ranger 9 on March 21st, 1965, the last in a series of unmanned lunar space probes. Today, in honor of Modest Mussorgsky's birthday, we'll talk about his piano suite, Pictures at an Exhibition, composed in 1874 and inspired by art by the Russian architect and painter Victor Hartmann. The version I'll be highlighting today is the version by English progressive rock band Emerson, Lake and Palmer, which was released in November of 1971. It's not a single song, it's a whole album, and while it didn't hit number one, it certainly did make it into the top 10 for albums. And if you're an old hippie lover of 1970s Emerson, Lake and Palmer like I am, you'll most likely enjoy hearing it again. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I hope you'll enjoy it first time. I would go further and add that you might also enjoy a couple of other versions, one a more traditional orchestral version and one in piano, since it was written as a piano suite. Pictures at an Exhibition, composed by Modest Mussorgsky in 1874 and released by Emerson, Lake and Palmer in 1971. Links in the description. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. This is the birthday.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I wasn't talking to you. Me and my mouth. John, are you kidding me? Okay, hold on. We got to make that be quiet. You got to read the black part. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for, where's your microphone? Okay, we don't want to say the same thing twice. Get your microphone. What is it with you and this microphone? Okay, here we go. We are still recording. That's great. Okay. How about that? We'll have a lot to edit today. Cacophony is a sound. Cacophony is a noun that you got to read it the right way. Let's start over. It's 8 o'clock, so all of the reminders are going to be dinging. I forgot to turn those off. Okay, stop it. It's 8 o'clock. Don't alienate people who can be helpful to you. Flinging happiness all over the place. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.